guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do the eyeshadow palette tag today, and I'm pretty excited about it because eyeshadow palettes are some of my favorite things, and certainly probably at the moment my most favorite aspect of doing makeup. I will say I had intended to look a little bit more glam, a little bit more refreshed, but I'm a working woman, I've got kids, and I'm so sorry I said that, now I want to yawn. And I'm a teacher, and teaching in the time of COVID has been, shall we say, a challenge, a new and exciting and exhausting challenge. So let's get straight into my eyeshadow palette tag YouTube video. Now I am constantly rotating and falling in and out of love, but there are some stalwarts, some staples in my collection. So I would say, it isn't that I necessarily use it all the time, but if I had to choose one that I use more than any other, it would be the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette. So this is not new, despite the name, but it is beautiful and practical, and it's also one of the reasons I fell in love with eyeshadow palettes. So it comes like this, and I know I could like throw out this cover, it's kind of manky at this stage, but I don't know, I just love it. It just felt really special opening it the first time, and then see, even when I see it I get excited. Like, I remember why I fell in love with this. So when it says New Nudes, that's because it really is practical for everyday use, despite some of the more pigmented shades, which lean purple or mauve. And there's glitter in here, which I love looking at, but I don't use often. I have worn it to work. Working with children affords me the benefit of doing some things that are a little bit more fun than I might do in a more classical office environment. But ultimately, I'm just not really a glitter eyeshadow person. I actually want to be, because I think glitter is really cool and really fun. And I do like sparkle and shimmer in my shadows, but I don't know, for some reason I think that glitter is just like a really strong option that I don't enjoy wearing. But I wish I did. Anyway, so that's a lot to say. These glitter shades, they're so pretty to look at. And then, okay, so my favorite part of this palette would be these. So, Charmed, Fantasy, Daydream, and Crave. Oh, they're beautiful. So they're these two goldy shades, and then like a pinky purpley shade, and sort of a rosy copper shade. But what's so special about those shades is they have these iridescent flakes sort of throughout the shadow, and it's really beautiful, and it translates onto the lid, and I'm getting excited even talking about it, which, I mean, I love it. And then of course there's this concealer, which I have tried using, and I wish it wasn't there. I think it's a waste, and it's getting gunky because it's cream in a powder palette, and there's no like way to cover it or separate it. Anyway, but overall, I just think this is special. It is absolutely appropriate for every day. It really was kind of like a gateway palette I used to be kind of scared of color, and I'm still a neutral gal at heart. I really am. But this is a New Nudes palette, and therefore there is color in it. That's why I think that's what the new is. It's like new finishes, new textures, but also with color, even though we're calling it nude. And I just think that's really awesome, and makes someone like me who feels safer using neutral tones and nudes, and not just safer, but like I really enjoy them. But it gets me a little bit out of my comfort zone. So, that is, yeesh, I talked a lot about that one, but I do think it's really special. So that's my most used. So the next one is smallest. That has to be a tie between my Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette and my Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette. I think both of these are gorgeous and practical, and I actually bought them because I really like that in some ways they're prescriptive. They tell me what to wear. You know, I like being creative, but I also get really excited by following a paint by numbers sort of structure in my eyeshadow. I mean, I don't know, I get the feeling I'm not unique in that because a lot of people really enjoy these palettes that are limited in the amount of shadows and shades, and that just really, you can tell if you've been doing makeup long enough, not even that long, just long enough to know that, you know, one's going to be a contour shade, one's going to be an eye shade, sorry, like an eyelid shade, one's going to be inner corner, and one's going to be outer corner. And then, you know, there's a little bit, the cool thing with a 5-shade palette is that there's a little bit of flexibility and leeway, or you could also use all 5 at the same time, you know, underneath, above, mixing, blending, etc. Anyway, I think these are really cool and really great. I think they're worth it. I'll put the price up on the screen, but from memory, these were like 42 Australian dollars. And I really enjoy them. And I also don't feel the urge to go out and get the full-size palette of the Sunset, because this really, I think it meets a need for me for this sort of color story, and I don't need to go overboard with the finances or a bigger palette, which I can find overwhelming. So, yeah, my oldest palette would be the Sweet Peach. My sister gifted this to me when I started to get into makeup. It took me a little bit to understand where mattes go and where shimmers should go and where highlights should go, and I say should, but like I want to add a addendum to that, which is there are rules, but of course these are unwritten rules and there's no reason you should follow them if you find something better that works for you. I often, you know, want to be that gal who does. I'm just not. Like, I like these sort of, the structure that tends to be the most popular, but yeah. Anyway, this was, she gave me this, and it took me a little bit to get into it because I was afraid of it. I didn't trust myself to do a job neat enough to go in public with. But yeah, eventually I managed, and that was really cool, and this is a really special color, really pretty. I love these nudes. I'm trying to look and see which ones are most used, but it would definitely be something like this. Although I actually haven't reached for this in a while, but I can't let it go because I still think it's a really good palette. If I was going to start reaching for it again, I'd probably also maybe embrace these 3 a little more. But anyway, it just smells really good. I mean, it smells like fake peach, but it smells like peach, and that's fun. So, yeah, anyway, this is my oldest palette, and this was sort of my introduction to quality shadows and the potential what they might have, that eventually led me to the makeup obsessed lady you see before you. And the next one is newest. Okay, so really excited about this one. Obsessed, loving it. Oh my gosh. It is the Tartelette in Bloom. Now this palette is not old. Now this palette is not new. Not at all. Not even a little bit. But it is so practical, and the shades wear so easily, and they blend so seamlessly. I get excited, I really do. I feel strong in this. So let's see, I'll open it. So recently there was a thread online on Reddit on eyeshadow palettes and what everyone's favorite everyday shade was, and heaps of people said Tartelette in Bloom, and I'd heard of it before but not really much about it, and then I looked into it and it was all over. I don't know how I missed the memo on this one, but this is what it looks like, and so that's what it looks like, and it's just really practical and really pretty, and I feel good in it. I feel really good, and like, it's almost fail-safe if you do tend to know where shades go on the eye. So for example, like I said before, the lid shade, the corner shade, the crease shade, etc. Once you get that, geez, you're good to go. I mean, you could do something like this. You know, you could go across like that, you can go up and down, you can go, I really love it, and this is the first time I really felt excited about an everyday palette. I mean, I know that the new nude is sort of an everyday, but it's an unusual everyday neutral palette, where something like this is a little more classic, but, you know, I didn't know I could get excited by an everyday palette. Well, spoiler alert, I can, and I'm very excited to reach for this. So I would say that's my newest. But I might put on the screen 2 more palettes that I've ordered. 3, 4, maybe 5 palettes that I just recently ordered. I'm just thinking of all the makeup I've ordered. Ooh, I need to stop. Okay, so yeah, so this is my newest, and I am enjoying it, and it, my gosh, I really, really am. Okay, so Most Colorful is actually not the new nudes palette. It is, I haven't used this one in a while. This is the Fenty Beauty Moroccan Spice palette. It's got all sorts of colors from red to blue to pink to purple, and I guarantee you I haven't used the majority of them. I saw this, it was all the rage on YouTube for a hot second, maybe a hot 2, but it really died down quickly, and I do not enjoy this palette. I don't know why I haven't gotten rid of it. I really need to declutter this one. I don't know if it's because it's so colorful. I'm sure that has something to do with it. Like, and again, this is a personal preference. You might love a palette like this. This is not an indication that this is a bad palette by any means. It just doesn't work for me. And what I tend to enjoy, the looks that I enjoy putting together. And also, I actually don't really like the way these shadows blend, but again, that could be the brush I'm using, it could be my eyelids, it could be a mixture of all that, so please don't feel like this palette is not for you or that I'm criticizing you. I don't like it. It's my most colorful palette, and that's all there is to it, and I'm building up the courage to declutter that one. But I did buy it when I was with my mother, and though that's not a favorite memory because I didn't end up liking the palette so much, I do enjoy the memory of makeup shopping with my mother. I find that to be really special bonding time. So yeah, working up the courage. That's silly, I know, but it is what it is. So the next thing is the biggest palette. Okay, so, oh, actually, that would be Tati Beauty. So when this came, I absolutely rushed to get this. I know I keep the covers. Whatever, don't judge me. We all have our things. But this was the Tati Beauty Volume 1 palette. I think it's really neat that it's shaped like a book, blah, blah, blah. Goes on the shelf. If you buy more, it's like a bunch of books. Like, that's cool. I'm an English teacher. I'm an author. I love books. So that gets me excited. The fact that makeup is a story, that makeup can be part of your story, that's all super cool. But, big but, and I'm kind of scared saying this, I'm not even big enough to call myself a small YouTuber. I'm not even micro as a YouTuber. But the thing is, I don't like this palette. I could see why someone would love a palette like this, if these are your colors. So I actually don't think it's the quality. I think it's the fact that okay, I'm responsible. I purchased it. I get that. I don't use pink. Like this sort of a pink. So I do use like a brownie pinks, rosy pinks. I do not use magenta / red pinks. I just don't. I don't like it. I do not get excited by it. Similarly, orange, I could see why I'd use orange if I, had blue eyes, like they're opposites. That would be super cool, but I don't, and I also very rarely use these, like, really dark shades. I know they're corner shades, but, like, it just doesn't lend itself to my everyday. So, yeah, huge waste of money. Also my biggest palette, and I can't bring myself to part with it, because I don't... It's weird, but, like, she put so much time and effort into it, and I know that it's not, like, one in the bin will make a difference, but, like, there was love in this palette, and I love that about it. Again, I'm not saying this is a bad palette, I'm just saying it is not for me. It's just not a palette for me. It absolutely might be for you. It is a quality palette, and it is a color story, that I think a lot of people would absolutely love because it is more on the neutral side of things, just not my sort of neutrals. That's the difference. The next is my, most expensive. Well, that's easy. I got it on sale. I think I got it at the 20% off Sephora sale. Is my, let's see, Pat McGrath Mothership V Bronze Seduction Eyeshadow Palette. And that's this one. So, when you open it up, it's upside down, because that's exactly who I am as a person. When you open it up, I mean, it is gorgeous. It's duochrome. A lot of them, not all of them. They're really special. They're really thoughtful. The quality is amazing. The glittery glint. So this is a glitter I do like. Like, it's just beautiful, and it sparkles as opposed to glints. Or maybe it glints as opposed to sparkles. I guess it depends on your perspective. But it's not a glitter per se. There's just like a lot of shimmer glittery in it. And it's beautiful, and it's refined, and it's somehow subtle, but also not subtle at the same time. But I don't actually enjoy this palette very much either. However, I am not getting rid of this one anytime soon because it is so beautiful. I just like, I don't know, I think it's almost too fancy for me. That sounds bad. That sounds really bad. I don't know what it is. I want to love it. I really want to love it, but I don't. Kind of like the Tatsi one, and these are both quality palettes. I think this one retails for like 200 Australian dollars, but I got it 20% off, so I think I got it for 160. Oh my gosh, like, I could feed my children so many meals for that. No, 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 no me, bad me. Like, if you have the income for that, oh, by all means, no judgment, but what was I thinking? Anyway, so that's that palette. Oh, and I did want to say, another thing that I enjoy doing is I will absolutely put palettes together if I have to. I think it's cool if you can keep your look in one palette. I think that means that's the mark of a really quality palette to me, regardless of the price. But, you know, that doesn't mean I will only stick to the palette. So today I actually put this on my lid and my inner corner, and then I have some Tartelette in Bloom in my crease and my outer corner, so in that V, and that's the look I have today. And I got compliments from students, which was really fun, because who's cooler than students? I teach high school and college students, so from 7 to 12. Okay, so the next one is Everyday Palette. Well, I think I've covered that. My everyday palette would definitely be my Tartelette in Bloom. It's an everyday palette. There's just no other way to put it. Or my new nude. I think that's probably a common theme in these tags. Your everyday palette is likely to be your most used, because every day is most days. Or most days are every day. I don't know. You know what I mean. So then the next one would be Best Memory. Best Memory. You guys, the camera just totally cut me off. But I hadn't realized, so I just kept talking. So hopefully I have patched this together seamlessly, and through the magic of movies, through the magic of rudimentary editing skills, I not only have learned to speak, but have patched this together in an enjoyable way for you. And now you get to watch me sip licorice tea. Isn't that fun? I'm sure that's why you want to tune into my channel, for little fun moments like that you couldn't do yourself in your own home. So we'll see how that goes, I guess. And Best Memory. So that would be my Modern Renaissance palette, because I asked my mom for this one from the States, and we like to talk about makeup and watch YouTubers and get excited, and we don't even have, we don't look anything alike, and yes, she is my mother, biologically and emotionally, but we don't look alike. We cannot stand next to each other and be identified as mother and daughter, like to be picked out of a crowd like that, so different products look good on us, and, you know, different colors. She's got very beautiful blue eyes. I have brown eyes. She used to be a lot fairer than me. I've gotten fairer as I've gotten older, or as we say, gracefully aged. But she's still fairer than me. She's got like peaches and cream skin. I've got super neutral. Her eye shape's different, whatever. The point is, we get really excited about it, but we can't necessarily easily swap products, or share them, which I guess that's not hygienic, but she's my mom. So, Yeah, we get excited, but that doesn't mean we like the same things. Nevertheless, my whole point is I asked her for this palette. She asked me if there's anything I wanted in US dollars, like her dollars, so she brought this for me from the States as a gift. I'm so sorry if you can hear my dog chomping. Anyway, she brought this for me from the States as a gift, and what a gift it was. It was just, it was huge on YouTube at the time, and so that meant I wanted it because I didn't know much about makeup, and it was my first, like, expensive palette other than the Sweet Peach, and yeah, the hype's really kind of died down about this, but this was super popular for a while, not so much now. I think it is still popular and enjoyed, but it's just not super overhyped anymore, or just hyped. Anyway, the point is, special memory, my mom brought it. I love my mom. Ergo, I love the palette, and I'm not going to get rid of it anytime soon. Not worth the hype. That one is easy for me. Again, this was a gift from my mother, and I'm so grateful for it, and like I keep looking at it and seeing how practical it should be, and how there's so many ways I should be able to use it, and how often. For some reason I don't. And so the palette I'm talking about is the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basic. So it's all matte, and it definitely leans cool, and it's got sort of this burnt orange shade. That's probably the brightest shade, but it's got a really good mix of really light everyday type purples, and then you've got these really neutral browns and a few of these smoky colors that could actually work on a night out if you are a super neutral lover. And so this has the makings, but actually I prefer shimmer on my lid. At the moment it could change, but at the moment that's a preference, so it doesn't have that. But nevertheless, this is all the ingredients other than that. So I don't know why I love it. I actually just don't enjoy the quality. When I put it on my eye, it's just, like, dull. I don't know. Maybe it's my eye that's dull. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. So anyway, for me, this one's not worth the hype, but for you, it might be a brilliant palette. Again, no judgment, no tea, no shade, as the YouTubers say, except for the tea I'm drinking, because it's licorice, and it's bomb, and it's yummy, and somehow it's sweet, and there's no sugar in it. Haha. Not sure what I just did there. Anyway, so then, of course, worth the hype. Oh! I skipped one. Okay, so next we've got the least expensive slash most affordable slash cheapest, I don't know, however you want to put it. I've got my Essence palettes. Okay, so I have the Essence Million Nude Faces palette, and then I've got the Essence In Love with Rose palette, and these are beautiful palettes. They are worth them, and I think it was like $8 Australian or something, which probably translates to like $4.50 US. I don't know. It's a palette, it's small, but $4.50. Now the thing with these shades is there is not just a million nude faces, a million pieces of kickback, which I found is common in Essence, but you know what? The palettes are really pretty and really useful and great for every day. And if you don't want to spend lots of money, get these. I highly recommend them. They're very blendable. They're very wearable. I'll just show you. I mean, come on. Like, those are great colors. And, let's see. How am I going to do this? I mean, that's yummy. Okay, can we just agree that's yummy? Yeah, we agree. We agree because I'm the only one talking. So, anyway, that is the Million Nude Faces. And then we've got the In Love with Rose. And that is like pink nudes. Ah, it is. It's so pretty. I love it. Absolutely worth the money. So, you know what? And it says In Love with Rose eyeshadow box number 2 and happily ever after. I mean, yes, I am. I am happily ever after that I have this palette and that it hardly costs me a drop in the ocean. And if you're just getting started and you want to experiment, or you don't have a lot of money to spend but you want to buy an everyday palette or just a palette, go for these. I found the quality with Essence is pretty good. Not everything works for everyone, and not everything is of the same quality, but I actually enjoy Essence more than I enjoy e.l.f. With the products I've tried, and so, yeah, most inexpensive. I think they were like $8 each, Australian, and worth every penny. Okay, finally, worth the hype. You know what? You know, I think most of these are absolutely worth the hype. Most of these were hyped. I get a lot of my recommendations from YouTube. Not all of them turn out. A lot of them do. And a lot of these lived up to that. For example, even Pat McGrath, it just turns out it's not for me. It just doesn't do it for me. But the shadows are absolutely quality. They're beautiful. They're unique. Are they worth the price? Not for me. But for someone who has that sort of expendable income and enjoys those type of shades and, you know, that sort of a duochrome, which I want to like, but just isn't my thing, yeah, get it. It lives up to the hype. It's just not my thing. But it could be your thing. Your thing. And, you know, for example, these Natasha Denona palettes, people rave about her quality because they're good. In Bloom, you know I'm a broken record, but like, I didn't believe it. I was like, how can I like something that's that boring to look at, okay? But the more I looked at it, the less boring it was, and the more exciting it was, and then I bought it, and then I put it on my eye, and not boring at all, lives up to the hype. I love it. I wear it every day. So look, I think they live up, a lot of these live up to the hype. So many. I'm trying to think if there's any more. Yeah. Just, it's easier to say the ones that don't. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed my eyeshadow palette tag video, and that you are enjoying eyeshadow palettes of your own. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.